Hello there, and welcome to this video about Vampire Count's lore and list building. So I thought after we've actually done our walkthroughs of all the factions, we'd start to look at building some interesting lists. So I thought I'd spend a bit of time talking about where we are in the timeline, as in like the history of the old world, do a bit of lore and exposition, talk about the themes that you can use, and also how to build bloodline lists that seem fairly competitive. So, just a brief I'm not going to do a massive lore video, there are other channels that do that way better, but in order to give you a bit of a brief recap, essentially Nagash created the vampires to be his lieutenants. Nagash was a priest in the realm of Khemri when they were all alive, so before they were skeletons. And he made a dark pact with some dark elf sorcerers who then taught him dark magic, and he created necromancy from these teachings of dark magic and granted himself immortal life. Neferata then learned about immortal life from Nagash and created her own elixir of life. However, her elixir was inferior in that it was as much a curse as it was a blessing. So yes, she's got immortal life, but now she has to drink blood and blah 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 blah. And she became essentially the first vampire. Wasuran, who remains loyal to Nagash, was like the father of the vampires. And he was essentially the first blokey vampire, and essentially led the vampires under Nagash's command to try and overthrow the forces of Khemri. That didn't work. Nagash was defeated, the vampires betrayed him and fled north to the old world, basically. What's happened over the centuries is that there's been, at some point, I think it was Otto von Track, in what is now Sylvania, became a vampire when he was sort of on his deathbed, and essentially created the von Karsteins. And the von Karsteins aren't really their own bloodline, but kind of like an amalgam of all the other bloodlines, so they have like strengths and weaknesses of all of them. Each different bloodline has its own like character, as it were, which we'll talk about. So yeah, Neferata is the mother of vampires, progenitor of the Lamians. Her personal bodyguard was a chap called Aborash, who's a great warrior filled with martial pride, and when Neferata turned him, he eventually created the blood dragons, who were all about combat and winning and all the rest. Neferata's younger brother, Usharan, who's just got a plastic release in AOS, created a just and orderly vampiric kingdom in Strigos. It grew to be greater than Neferata's own kingdom. But Neferata essentially got people to drive him out and destroy him. This is all, as vampires, so when Nagash was still about, she kind of politicked against him and essentially drove them into hiding in the sort of northern wastes and all over the world where everybody hates them. And then Usoran, was the father of vampires, sought knowledge of magic above all things, and that's why they've got a corpse-like appearance, because Usoran didn't drink blood, he just relied on dark magic to sustain him, so he lost all his vitality, hence looking like a corpse. And that's created the four bloodlines. I thought at this stage I'd mention Bram Stoker's Dracula, because all of this is kind of the sort of the four main bloodlines are kind of in Bram Stoker. So you've got like the scene here where he's like this bestial creature, that's a bit like the Strigoi. You've got the kind of Necrarch at the beginning when we're introduced to Gary Oldman as Dracula, and that he's kind of floating and a bit kind of, there's weird magics going on and he's a bit husk-like. there's a flashback scene where he's wearing this red armour. It seemed familiar, where he was on the battlefield, like impaling thousands of people on pikes. And then you've got the three brides of Dracula, who, you know, they're seductresses and, you know, look quite close to being human. The rest of this doesn't look very human. They look quite close to being human. So this is kind of, I think, where a lot of this kind of this came from. This kind of, although, you know, none of these are unique or were created by Francis Ford Coppola's film. If you want a bit of a flavour of the different types of vampire, I'd definitely go check it out. It's Gary Oldman, so even though the film's I think a bit flawed, Gary Oldman just carries it because it's Gary Oldman. He's great, one of the best actors of all time. Anyway, let's talk about the Blood Dragons. So they're cavalry heavy. They're all about martial prowess. They don't really drink blood that much. They drink the blood of the criminal and the coward, and, you know, but they don't, anybody who they defeat honourably in combat, they don't sort of feast on them. They kind of, you know, that's so they don't drink the innocent, basically. They have limited ability to perform necromancy, so there's a lot of, as you'd imagine, there's a lot of blood dragons in there. There's a lot of dark, what are they called? Dark Riders, Dark Knights, whatever. Black Knights, that's what they're called. There's a lot of that kind of stuff. A bit of dogs, because it's a bit kind of hunty, isn't it? But like, or direwolves, sorry. You know, a few bats, but mostly vampires in armour charging across the battlefield, you know, seeking out their equals. So that's the Blood Dragons. Their theme is just martial prowess, really. It's just about being good with a blade. The Necrarch, they're kind of like your, their theme is kind of, it's all about magic and mastery of the dark arts, and, you know, it's very magic heavy. You're looking at lots of zombies on the tabletop. You're looking at like fresh dead and like constructs almost. I mean, there's no real undead constructs. It's not like in Castlevania, which I'd recommend if you haven't seen that, which is a cartoon on Netflix. Brilliant though. But there's no like weird zombified constructs yet. But you know, you could go down that route and just think about like Vargulf and Vargeists as being sort of down that track, maybe. But definitely, you could easily lean into a zombie horde here, with a lot of magical support and, you know, some necromancers and stuff like that. You got the Harmians, who I think a Coven Throne is a must because it kind of fits into the lore a lot, and actually it's not terrible. Lots of ancient dead, lots of skeletons, you know, servants lying around. Tomb Guard probably feature in the list, although personally I'm not a massive fan of the Tomb Guard rules, but I mean, yeah, they're good. They are good. I've just, you know, I've never really liked them. Elite skeletons, what? And then you have some like Blood Knights as like thralls, so like lower vampires might be rocking around in a bit of armour, pouncing around the battlefield. But that's kind of the Larmians, you know, thralls and skeletons, you know, ancient dead. That's kind of what you, because the Larmians are like the original, you know, the original vampire cult. And then you got the Strigoi, which I think is just like, is it Romanian for vampire or something like that? Anyway, you know, and or maybe Bulgarian, I can't remember. You know, obviously Transylvania, where Dracula is kind of set, is in Romania. So there's lots of Romanian inflections on stuff. Anyway, Strigoi are like the Ghoul Kings. So you've got beasts, you got Vargulls, you got bats, you got giant bats, you got all that kind of bestial kind of stuff is like very Strigoi. So that's the kind of theme. It's like feral vampire horde. There are some other options. You know, you could go down like a necromancer led. These two guys here, that's Heinrich Kemmler and Krell. Krell's a sort of reanimated Chaos Lord who's, you know, this is the first ever this is the first ever like bromance in Warhammer, is like Heinrich Kemmler and Kell. It's a bit of a weird relationship between the two. They're both very odd individuals. Something which apparently is coming are the Jade Dragons, which are essentially the Cathayan vampires. However, Cathayan vampires don't really turn people very often, so like, the vampires themselves are not really, you know, not really very numerous. Way less numerous than any of the other kind of old world vampire factions. So quite how they deal with that, if they're ever going to bother to deal with that, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to start writing a list for them because I don't know what Cathay looks like in the old world yet. So I'm not going to talk about them. The Necromantic Horde would look very similar to a Necrarch Horde, to be honest, in terms of, you know, its style. And then finally you've got the Von Carsteins, which, to be honest, they'd have a bit of everything, because it's kind of like a balance between the different bloodlines. They kind of, there's not really any kind of dominant trait in the Von Carsteins apart from like this lust for power. But like, you know, what vampire doesn't have a lust for power? It's not really a thing. It's like command and control, but then all the other bloodlines do that anyway. So this is kind of like the sort of the mix, the blended bloodline, as it were, of the Von Carsteins. I don't even know who turned something Van Drack, wasn't it? I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, so that's the four flavors. So what I'm going to do now is write a few lists and show you how to build a list, or how I build a list anyway. So I'm going to use Old World Builder for this. There is another thing called New Recruit, but it's a bit more complicated. So, that's new. Let's go for Blood Dragons first off. So we need some characters. I think with these characterful lists, you always start with a vampire count because you're going to have one, and you want to give it all the stuff that you want to give it. So before I even bother looking at like the mundane items, I always go and have a look at the magic items first and see if I can add something that's good and that works, but also adds a bit of flavour to the list. So Frostblade is nasty. Killing Blow. And an enemy model that suffers one or more unsaved wounds. Sword of Kings strikes a killing blow if they roll a natural 5 or 6. Blood Drinker recovers a single lost wound. Sword of Kings. Oh no, hold on. Dreadlance. Right, so basically all of that is the same as a lance. It's a magical attacks, and it can re-roll failed rolls to hit while using it. So it's a lance that gives you re-roll failed rolls to hit. Now, I mean, your vampire count's got a pretty good weapon skill anyway. I mean, it's only got 4 attacks. Yeah, I don't see re-roll hits to be worth 40 points, to be honest. I'd rather go for the extra killing blow, thanks. I think that'd be way more effective. And you get strength +1 and AP1 as standard, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I think Sword of Kings for an extra 15 points. I definitely want that, because you want something that makes them better. Sword of Kings. Combat, I mean. Survivability. It's not really a blood dragon thing. It's about slaying stuff. Oops, that's wrong. That's not what I wanted to do. That one. Then we need to look at like powers as well. So vampires have like vampiric powers, which are obviously ahead of magic items because I went behind them. Here we go. So Curse the Revenant, +1 wound. That's like a Necroarch thing, I think. Beguile, this is definitely a Lamian thing. Just want to check my phone, see what that was a reminder for. Nothing that I have to do. Good. That's not Invocation of Nehek. Extra level of wizardry, again, that's a Necroarch thing. Terror, probably. Lord of the Night, that sounds like a Strigoi thing, so supernatural horror. But that narrative doesn't really suit the Blood Dragon thing. This vampire's hideous look upon having long since forsaken the trappings of nobility and beauty and embraced the beast within. That sounds, they've made it sound like a Strigoi thing, but I'd say that's more like a Blood Dragon thing, because, like, you know, this sort of unstoppable killing machine, like a Blender Lord, you know, that would be quite terrifying. I don't know that any of these, like, none of this really looks like Blood Dragon, does it? They've not really given you, like the kind of, there used to be one or something called like Martial Prowess, which was like +1 to hit or something. I mean, yeah, they don't. None of them feel like a Blood Dragon-y thing, so I'm not even going to bother with them. Right, we don't want to make him a wizard because he's going to be in armor anyway. So, you know, we don't, making him a wizard would be a bit counterproductive, to be honest. What have we got? Heavy armor. I want full plate. Right, so accursed armor's full plate, +1 toughness, -1 weapon skill and initiative. +1 toughness for the cost of -1 weapon skill and initiative. What are the but that's, they've, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, some of these I get a bit like, because if you look at, I think the High Elves have a 20-point item that's one use only, and it gives you a 2-up ward whenever. So, like, you get hit by, so essentially the High Elves with their 20-point version of this get hit by a killing blow, they roll a 2-up, they don't leave any wounds. With this one, the Von Karstein Ring, you get hit by a killing blow, you lose all your wounds, and then you roll a 2-up and you might get one back, basically. So this is way worse for double the points. Bit weird. Crown of the Damned again. Well, maybe, like, Wazoran was a bit mad, so yeah, maybe that. That's Necromancers. Like, they have enchanted items, right? And they're all bloody Necromancer only. So none of the vampires can have any of these enchanted items. The other thing to bear in mind, actually, is that, where's the generic? Oh yeah, they put it before magic items, didn't they, I think? Or where did they put the special rules? Where's the rule about the 6-up regen for everybody? That will be, I wonder if that's earlier on, isn't it? Yeah. Lose the oh, they all got it in there. Oh, they've all got it in the profile. Okay, cool. So he's probably got regen 5. Yeah, okay. So let's give him a ward. Might as well. Give him a ward save. Potion of, actually 55. Have we got enough? What have we got enough points for? 45 points. 70 points, isn't it? Armor of Destiny. That's the one with a 4-up ward. Yeah. Right. So let's go for Talisman of Protection, because that's giving him a 5-up ward. Do I want to put him on a dragon? If I was doing like a Prince Vordry type thing, yes, I put him on a dragon, and I wouldn't take this weapon. I'd go for the Dreadlance, to be honest, because it would just look cool. He doesn't need a Law of Magic, but let's give him a shield and some full plate. Wasn't full plate an option? Oh, great. I thought full plate was an option, but anyway, let's give him heavy armor, shield, and whack him on a nightmare, which presumably comes with barding, by the looks of things. So I spent 270 points on a vampire count. That's a decent general. And he's got this killing blow on a 5 and 6. So good at taking out characters. And he's got a 5 at ward, 5 at regen, 3 up save, because I couldn't seem to find any full plate armor. There was some magic full plate armor, but it wasn't really worth it. But anyway, so we also need, I'd suggest, a level 4 Master Necromancy. We'll come back to him for magic items later. I think, what else would they have? They'd probably have a Thrall. Yeah, because they're a bit like Bretonians. Let's give him a Battle Standard Bearer. Yeah, definitely on a Nightmare. No magic. And are any of their banners any good? What have we got? White Lord, 3 to hit always works. It improves the armor value of its regen save. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Reserve move is okay. Pardon me. Is there actually any full plate here? No. Actually, Banner of Iron result. Oh no, because they don't need stubborn, do they? No, because they're all, yeah. I was just thinking that's a bit of a nice synergy with Bretonians, and they're kind of like vampiric Bretonians, really. But yeah, I'll probably just take the War Banner, to be honest, with him, because then he basically gives +2 to combat res. So if you put him in a unit, then you get +1 for the Battle Standard Bearer, +1 for the War Banner, +1 for the banner that's in the unit, whatever. Right, core, what are we going to have? We're allowed Black Knights, which is good, so we'll have those. Necromancer probably needs to go on a Nightmare, there we go. So we've got some Black Knights, they're just going to die, so let's just duplicate those like that. Let's have some doggos. What do Demon Wolves do? This just says champion entry. Probably extra wet attack or whatever. They're quite cheap for 40 points. I mean, yeah. Let's duplicate that. Where are we up to? 900 points. So we've got 180 points of core. I think I'm going to go for... Do I want to go like elite with everything? Skeleton Warriors. I do like Skeleton Warriors. And they do sort of make for like good peasants. Which again, they'd be all about. We've got 30 points missing. Cool, let's give them... Oops. Let's give them that. Could give them razor standard. I don't need spears anyway. Nice! So there we go. We've got some like cheap sort of quickish chaffy units. We've got a big block of infantry to kind of sit in the middle of the board. Oh, can you give them Hellish Vigor? Yeah, that was the one that's +1. No, it's reserve move. Which is the one that's... Yeah, Drakenhof. Definitely give that to that unit. Yeah. Right, let's make it 40 actually. Then it's worthwhile. So then you got 40 skellies with a 5-up regen. Nice. Special units. Black Knights are also special. Okay. The problem with these army list rights is that they're not always right, so... Yeah. So they are actually special units. Oh, you only had 1 Black Knights per 1,000 points. But they are definitely special units. Right, well, let's get rid of these then, because they're in the wrong section. Then we need some more core. If I do that... Yeah, I don't want too many dire wolves though, that's the problem. Certainly not in any one unit. I mean, I think 3's okay. Oh, what else can we take in the core section? I mean, I don't really want any of this other stuff really. Probably bat swarms. Yeah, that does it, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, that'll do. Right, and then here we go for the Black Knights, because they're quickish chaff. Then we're up to that level of points, and then Blood Knights 0 to 1 per 1,000. Okay, so let's go full command. Let's see how expensive they get. Drilled, definitely, such a good ability. 256 points. That's 2 units of Black Knights. That looks good so far. And what can I... Hold on. Why are they in special? I thought they were... Oh no, they are rare. No, it's alright. Oh, 12 points too many. Oh, that's so annoying. So what am I going to... I'm going to have to drop the musician for each of them, aren't I? Or make one unit not... No, I want them to be drilled. They haven't got impetuous or frenzy, have they? No. Okay, cool. Yes, right, so no musician for the Blood Knights. What else are we going to have? I mean, you could have a corpse. No, not a corpse cart. Oh, no, that's not there either. I mean... Oh, that's Black Knights. No, because we're not got enough points. We can only have 10 Blood Knights. Right. So we've got to get from somewhere else. Black Knights. God, you know, we might as well double it up. Give them lances, barding, all the rest. And make them better. Oh no, hold on. We've only got... Okay. Oh, so annoying. This is the problem with like writing army lists, and that you got to go backwards and forwards like so often. There we go. So we've got a chaffy unit of black. Okay, so we've got a chaffy unit of Black Knights. We've got a unit of 9 Black Knights that you could probably put the battle standard bearer with. You got the vampire count that can go with one of this units of Blood Knights, and the other one probably without. Or in fact, the Master Necromancer could go in the big unit of Black Knights, couldn't it? And that could like sit behind the army. We haven't really got any spare points. Oh no, because I need some spare points for magic items, didn't I? Right, let's do 7 of them, because I wanted thingies, the thingies Noiro, whatever it's called, Sceptre of de Noiro. So that what that does is that allows you to resurrect the fallen twice. is a leadership test in the command phase. So heavy cavalry, it recovers a number of wounds equal to this character's level of wizardry. I will point you out the Blood Knights. There, you're allowed to resurrect Blood Knights. So 4 of them come back a turn thanks to Master Necromancer, but he can do it twice. So even if you fail your leadership test, you get to re-roll it. So they're probably going to get 4 back. You know, and they've got a 2-up save. You know, I think they've got 5-up regen as standard, haven't they? Not sure on that actually. That sounds a bit too good for them, but you know, we'll have a quick look. See. Oh, Hex Wraiths. Oh, are they Hex Wraiths rare? I forgot about Hex Wraiths. They're really good. They have regen 6. They got regen 6. Yeah. Then you got this massive block of 40 skellies, which has got a 5-up regen. The cool thing about putting the banner in the unit rather than with the battle standard bearer and then putting the battle standard bearer in the unit is that you've got to kill the unit to kill this banner, right? Because people just step forwards and pick it up. Whereas with a battle standard bearer, nobody's picking that one up. So if you've got a super effective unit banner that you want in a unit, put it in the unit because it's way more survivable. Cool. So yeah, that looks like a good Blood Dragon list to me. So I hope you agree. Let me know if not in the comments. Let's do a Lamian list because I know exactly. In fact, have I? No, that's me messing around with something. Right, okay. Let's do a Lamian list. I want a 2K list. Right, this one I'm going to recreate Neferata. So we're going to have an amazing combat dragon monster thing. I've got her on a... I've got this model, wherever it is, that one. So I'm going to say, like when I rebase it, that's a dragon, because it's a bit big for an abyssal terror. It's not. It's. I don't know whether you can compare it with, like, size-wise with. Oh, bloody thing. Zombie dragon versus Neferata. I wonder if somebody's put the 2 next to each other. Oh, that's the old zombie dragon, isn't it? And there's Nef. Nobody's put those 2 models next to each other, though. What's that? There's so much, like, neo-pornographic stuff about vampires. It's that one, which I think is getting quite close to being. That one's actually. This one's actually the book cover off the Neferata book by Josh something. I think it's Josh something or other. I'd say that's a comparable scale, wouldn't you? I don't feel too terrible about that. Oh no, that's an abyssal horror, isn't it? Actually, that's not a zombie dragon at all. That's the old. Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe I should call it an abyssal terror instead. Yeah, zombie dragon is a bit bigger, isn't it? But it's a magical. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to call it a zombie dragon because I want it to be, basically. Right. So she's going to be the general. She's going to be a level 2 wizard. I'm going to give her some vampiric powers. I'm going to give her Beguile because that's awesome. And then I'm going to give her Master of the Black Arts because Neferata always was like a level 3 wizard. And then for magic items, I know exactly what I'm going to give her. I'm going to give her the Blood Drinker because if she does a wound, she heals. And that's very similar to the sword that she used to have. So we're getting pretty close to this being about as close to Neferata as you're going to get. She's got a 4-up save from the zombie dragon, because the zombie dragon counts as having full plate effectively. That's why I want the zombie dragon over the abyssal terror, because its armor saves better. She's also got a 5-up regen anyway, so that's all looking pretty good, and I can give her the amulet of protection. I've still got spare points to do that if I think she's not survivable enough. However, there's other stuff in this list that's going to be really expensive. So anyway, so we've got a vampire thrall. We're going to put it on a coven throne, give it some stuff. What do I want to do vampiric power wise on these? I can't give master of the, because you can only take each power once per army. That's not necessarily helpful. Yeah. We don't do fellbats, bat swarms, or dire wolves for these, so yeah, probably nothing really. I'm going to make it a battle standard bearer though, just because it's funny. I don't think any of these are really massively helpful. It's a pity that's not fear and terror, but yeah. Okay, it's just a battle standard bearer. I mean, the battle standard bearer is actually quite useful for vampire counts, because what it doesn't do, what you'd normally expect for battle standard bearers. Where's the, there you go. So friendly units within the battle standard bearer's command range may reroll any failed leadership test. In addition, reduce the number of wounds lost to unstable. And the thing about putting it on a coven throne is that a coven throne is hiding. It's also a large target, which means the battle standard bearer range becomes 18. So that's pretty cool in terms of what that achieves for the army. And then I've got 110 points available, but Neff's the general, so that'll do. And then we want skeleton warriors. We want 40 of them. Nice big block of them to keep them alive. We've got some points missing. I mean, I need a white, don't I, in order to take a grave guard as core. Yeah. Yes. Actually, do you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do 30, and then I'm going to duplicate. So we're still 170 points cheap. I mean, I could take some bats, I suppose. Could I take a white king? Oh, white lord's only 40 points. Let's take a white lord, and let's take some grave guard. Let's do 19 of them. And do a seneschal. Yeah, do full command. Why not? Give him great weapons. Implacable defense. What's that? May choose not to give ground. Ooh, that's quite useful. Yep, we'll do that. Drilled. Not so useful because they don't move very far. Is that useful? No, because they can't march. They can't use. They can't use thingy formation. Marching column. Right, what else do we want? I just think Blood Knights are great. I just find it annoying that you can't take 2 units with 2 units of 5 with full command. Oh, we're 23 points over. Oh, right. Right, if we get rid of drilled from both of them. Okay, cool. So we can put a musician on one, and that's 2,000 exactly. Now, I'm not sure this list would be very good because there's not a lot of screening going on. There's a vampire count that's sort of magic-y, but like Not sure. I'm not sure where the damage is coming. Well, here's where the damage is coming from. The 2 units of Blood Knights, although your opponent will spot that a mile off. Actually, the Graveguard could do a bit of damage. Could do a bit of work as well. How much is a great weapon for him? 4 points. Right. What did I do to make that 7? I gave that a musician. Yeah, I want him to be armed the same as the unit. Right. Cool. Oh, have they got a shield as well? Replace shields. No. Okay. Nice. So yeah, I think that's, you know. So I think the White Lord and the Graveguard could do a bit of work. And the Vampire Thrall just stops everything from dying, so, or reduces the amount of stuff that dies. And with its 18-inch bubble, it can do that pretty effectively. So I think this is an interesting list. I'm not sure how well it'd do, but that's kind of where I'm going with my list at the moment. So let's go for vampires again. And this time we're going to do Strigoi. Now this one's going to be fun. It's not going to be very good, but it'll be fun. Because you want a Ghoul King. You want probably... This is something where you've got like all the weird stuff, basically. Let's have... I want... yeah. So like, there's not like one below a Strigoi Ghoul King. He's got leadership 8. What leadership? So Thrall's got leadership 7. Oh, that's alright. So the Ghoul King can be the general still. Oh, you can make it a level 2 wizard. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So Spectral Scythe, no armor saves allowed. It's great. Oh yeah, Hex Wraiths. Hex Wraiths. Yeah, for the other list. Yeah, I forgot about Hex Wraiths. Oh no, but I want the Thralls. No. Leave it there. Oh, I bet you can't take Hex Wraiths as like core for some reason. Probably a bit too good then, but well, whatever. Okay. Toomba benches. Yeah, they got Wailing Dirge and stuff like that. Strigoi Ghoul King may be mounted on a Terrorgeist. Is that something I want to do? I think I'd rather have... Because the problem is, I'm going to make him the general. So, I'm going to do Strigoi Ghoul King. I'm going to make him a level 2 wizard. And then that becomes the general and the whatever. So like if we put him on a Terrorgeist, you want to get him into combat, whereas actually he wants to be kind of just nipping around and staying out of trouble largely. These have got no options. Vampire Thrall, Strigoi Ghoul King doesn't have any armor. So this is like I'm sort of modelling it after like a minor Strigoi. We need to go for Supernatural Horror, and what was the other one that was like Lord of the Night, isn't it? Something like that. That was the one that allowed for Fellbats, Batswarms, Direwolves. So this guy sticks around the Fellbats, Batswarms, Direwolves and brings them back to life. So we obviously need some Crypt Ghouls. We're the king of the ghouls. The jungle VIP. I reached the top and had to stop. I reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. Right, duplicate that. So we've got 2 units of 20 Crypt Ghouls. That's pretty good. In fact, let's have another one. What rare do I want? I want a Vargulf. Defo, they're great. I want Terrorgeist. Absolutely. Nice. I want some Crypt Horrors. I want some, not any more characters. I want some Vargeists. Where are we up to? Another 200 points spare. Can I have another Vargulf? Oh, I can. I love Vargulfs. I think they're great. Yeah. Oh, we got 150 points still. Cool. So let's have some wolves. Duplicate that. Bats. Can we have some bats? No. I just want a bit of everything, really. Actually, I might get rid of one of these unit of crypt ghouls. Let's get rid of that. And then let's have some bats. Bat swarms. Are we above? Yeah, we're above the 500. Can I have some giant fell bats as well? Yeah, I can. Mutually exclusive with crypt horrors. Alright, so we'll have one unit of each. That's alright. 0 to 1 if general is Strigoi Ghoul King. Oh, Vargeist is normally rare, are they? They're just special for him. Oh. Yeah. So, you know, you've got a bit of... I'll just go through all the VAR stuff, just so you can understand why I've done that. So, it's coming. Right, X-rays. Don't know, every time I look at them. It's just, they're like movement 8, like cavalry, blah, 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 but they are ethereal, so like they're really difficult to... They can do this. I just think they're great value for money. I just think they're wonderful. Apart from against chaos, because everything in chaos has got a magic weapon, so they just melt. So yeah, they just got to be careful about what they get themselves into, really. They're a bit swingy, I suppose. They're not massively reliable. Right, so Vargeists. Here's the Vargeists. They got Fly 9. They got Frenzy. Which means all the attacks. Strength 5, AP 2 with the Wicked Claws, Armor Bane 2. So like maybe AP 4. You know, they're indomitable. The Skirmishers. You know, they're just great. They're just wonderful, wonderful things. Fell bats are a bit quicker. They're cheap though. They go around and just like cause problems. And then I need to go to monsters to have a look at the Vargulf thing. So we needed Terrorgeist because they're cool. Yeah, they've got this Rancid Maw. It's got to make an attack with its Rancid Maw, and then the rest of it with Talons. I mean, to be honest, you'd probably... This model must make... So, can I make every attack with a Rancid Maw? Doesn't really say, does it? I must make one of its attacks. Yeah, so must make one would kind of exclude can make two, I'd argue, but it doesn't actually say that. So Terrorgeists are pretty cool. I mean, toughness 6 wounds, actually pretty standard big monster type profile. It's got no armor though. Oh no, sorry, it's got a light armor, so that's not great. And then Vargul, Syria. So they move pretty quickly. They've got a great stat line. They've got counter charge, which is awesome. Yeah, they're just great. Yeah, strength 5, AP 2, 4 attacks. You know, frenzied. Got bestial fury, so they can't be flanked or hit in the rear. You know. I mean, another 60 points for a Terrorgeist, actually, just thinking about it. But I think with these being smaller, makes them sort of slightly better. So anyway, that's my Strigoi list, like all the beasts, basically. And I think that'd be alright on the tabletop. It'd just be, you just have to be careful with how you deploy and what you sort of throw things into. Like the Crypt Horrors, they're like monstrous infantry that's good at infantry, so chuck them into a block of infantry. Vargeists, they're kind of like, you know, you want to really whack them into some knights because of their potential for big AP. Fell bats just go around and march block. Direwolves do a bit of screening to begin with, same as the bat swarms. The bat swarms are like a secondary screen. And then you got a couple of Vargulfs to sort of run around and hide behind terrain. Because the other thing is, this is a large target, these aren't. So these can hide behind terrain, which means they're a bit more survivable in terms of shooting. And then in they go to like smaller, these deal with like your opponent's MSU style stuff. And because they're frenzied, they can overrun and they've got swift stride. So they're actually quite quick. So that's the Strigoi. Oops. Oh good, the microphone is still working. And then the last faction I was going to do is Necrarch. Now, like I said, the Necrarch, it's like a construct style. Now they don't really have constructs, but what we do have is a lot of spirits. All right. So you want a vampire count. You want to put him on a zombie dragon. You want to make him a level 2 wizard. You want to give him Dark Acolyte, right? Master of the Black Arts. And what's the other one? This all relies on having a super powerful vampire lord who yeah, so he can resurrect stuff. He's now a level 3 wizard. That's it. Yep. I did want to give him Dark Revenant as well. Maybe I'm going to drop Dark. No, because you want him to raise the zombies that he's going to surround himself with. Cool. And I'm going to give him a Spell Familiar and a Scepter of Noiro. So he gets to do Invocation in a Heck twice. And he gets another spell, so he's sort of getting on for being a level 4 wizard. Magic items. Scepter of Spell Familiar, Scepter of Night. Now, because Spell Familiar is extremely common, you can have that and other things, so it's not... You normally can't have more than one of like the same thing, so you can't have 2 arcane items unless one's especially for whatever. And... I might give him... Can I give him... No, this is all necromancers only, isn't it? I find it so bizarre. Why not just make them all arcane items? Because you don't want a vampire with stuff having them. But like... like this is an assailment. It's so good. Why can't I have it on... I am very tempted by the Von Carstein ring, unless there's something similar in the rulebook that I've forgotten about. Oh, Ruby Ring of Ruin, yeah, that's good, isn't it? Oh. It's difficult because there's just not quite what I want available. Oh, the Armour of Destiny. Oh no, because he can't take armor and cast. Oh, that's very annoying. Right, okay, he can't take armor, so let's get on with that. Okay, so that's okay. We're not allowed armor, but we have got a 4-up save thanks to the zombie dragon, right? And we've spent 110 points. I feel like that's not enough, but like, I don't know what else to do really. Like nothing else kind of leaps out as being great. You definitely need this. Because I can't take any armor. None of the talismans are helpful. Like, none of it really leans into what I want this character to do. Because what I wanted was like this massive magic castle, like king that kind of sits in the middle of the army and just keeps everything up, and that's not really a thing. So I think a couple, what we really need is like a couple of necromantic acolytes. Then I'm going to go for a white king, and I'm going to put him What can I mount it? What can I mount the... Can I mount that on something else? It's on a Nightmare, Coven Throne, Terror, Dragon. Yeah. We don't want a White King to be... No, we just add a White Lord and make that the Battle Standard Bearer. Yeah, that'll have to do, won't it? Put him on a shield and a steed. There we go. He can sort of zip around and do that stuff. Zombies, definitely 60. Oops, 60. What's it doing that? Oh, 40 is the maximum size, is it? Oh, yeah, of course it was, yeah. Right. Boop. Dup, boop. Dup, boop. Dup, boop. There we go. 200 zombies. Oh, that's a horrible army to paint. Ugh, I won't want to paint 200 zombies. Let's swap out some of these zombies then. How many do I... 120, I think, is more than enough. Like, then, what else do we want? We probably want some wolves. Let's do 6 wolves. Duplicate that. We've got 44 points. Yeah, excellent. Then we can duplicate that again. We're just over the 500. We spent a lot on characters just to keep all this alive. And then how much have we got left? Not a lot, really. And now we want like spirit hosts. We want a corpse cart with... Which one's the one that... becomes the number of lost wounds due to a character using the invocation covers 1 additional unit. Oh, is that what I'm after? I can't remember actually. Must increase a spell's cast. No, it's warped tinabulation. Hand weapon. Thanks. Cavalry spear. Okay. Whip. Okay, whatever. Don't want any of that. Right. So we probably want 2 at about 130 points. They're quite expensive. I think they're more expensive than they are in AOS. And then down here we want some Hex Wraiths. Definitely. Yes, for the Hex Wraiths. And we want a... Oh gosh, no, we don't want any of them. Where's the bloody rare units? I've been clicking on the wrong thing. Got a black coach. Where's the oh no, it's a mount for a okay. 1 point too many. What can we get rid of there? We definitely want a Mortis engine. The Mortis engines are great. It just makes your magic so much more reliable. Oh, I thought it was a thing that you could take on its own. It's got to be a mount. Ugh. Yeah, friendly units with undead get +1 to move in initiative. That's move is great. Initiative not so much because it's already terrible. But everybody gets +1 to cast. However, miscasts hurt more. But you know, it's got loads of cool rules as well. So yeah. Definitely take that if you're going magic heavy, mainly because of the +1 to cast, really. 195 points, is it really worth it? I mean, I'd say so. You know, it's got fly 8, which is pretty useful. It's got the +1 to cast thing, which is very rare in this edition. It does impact hits. It's a heavy chariot, so 5, strength 5, armor save 4+, so you've just given a necromancer a 4-up armor save, which is pretty useful. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then a black coach. I quite like the black coach as well, because you can go ethereal, or you know, and that suits what you were doing, because like the army's a mix of like ethereal and other stuff. So I am gonna. So I've got 60 points spare. Oh no! I just not got enough points for everything I want to do. It's very annoying. I don't know how to finish off this Necroarch list. Sometimes you get like this, where you got like 50 points spare and you're like, I spent a lot on characters, like a lot. Let's get rid of that guy, because it's just too much. And I think the corpse cart, maybe you don't need. I'd rather have more stuff. So we could always duplicate that. Yeah. So then we've got 180 left. I mean, do we do more spirit hosts? Are they really any good? Spirit hosts. Where are the spirit hosts? No. Spirit hosts. Here we go. 4 wounds, ethereal. They've got reserve move, so they're fairly flexible. You can use inspiring presence and hold ground. Oh, so it can reduce. I'm not sure that's much better, but okay. And we got some hex wraiths, which again they're a bit swingy, but so yeah. I mean, or if you go Necroc, maybe not the dragon route, maybe not go for like Zacharias the Ever Living. So Zacharias the Ever Living only ever came on a zombie dragon. There you go, there's the model. That's probably about the same size as Neferata on thingy, to be honest. But he was like a level 5 wizard that did loads of cool stuff. So that's kind of what I've gone for here. Maybe that's a mistake. I'm not happy with this Necroc list, to be honest. I've got 120 points spare. I don't want to put more more zombies in. And there's not really anything like necromancy, constructy sort of thing that, you know, you could put in. I mean, I could possibly drop some zombies and some wolves and go for some. In fact, let's do that. Let's drop some zombies and let's go for something for the White Lord. So we'll get rid of his steed, put him on foot, give him a shield and a hand weapon. Yeah, that'll do. And then we can go for some Graveguard. And how many can I afford? Can I do 19? Or I can just about do 19, I think. Yeah, we can't give him either of that. Okay, so we've got a block of like 20 Graveguards sit in the middle. We've got 2 units of 40 zombies outside to flank. We've got a vampire counter on a zombie dragon that's going to be resurrecting stuff. We've got a necromantic acolyte that's also going to be resurrecting stuff. You've got a white lord that means that less stuff dies when it loses combat because it's will. And then you've got a load of spirits kind of floating around the battlefield, maybe doing a bit more damage. So, I spent about an hour on this video, which is more or less what I wanted it to be. We've done a blood dragon list, which I'm pretty happy with. That feels very blood dragon-y. And will smash face on the tabletop. I'd like to make it a bit quicker, but you know, I don't want to fill it with wolves. Just wouldn't. I suppose you could do that, couldn't you? But again, wolves are kind of more a bestial thing. We've got some Lamians. Quite happy with that. This looks pretty decent. Strigoi list looks like a lot of fun. Looks like you're going to have a lot of fun with that on the tabletop. There's quite a lot of tactical options there. There's quite a lot of flexibility in what it can do. You know, especially with all like the single monsters, that gives you a lot of interesting choices for later on. And there's a lot of skirmishing units in this, so you know it's going to be very mobile. And we've got 100 points spare to spend on like magic items or something else, or more wolves, whatever. And then the Necroc list, we've got a really powerful. This is a high risk list. Either it's going to keep everything alive all game, and basically you're going to end up with 2,000 points, and if you've killed any of your opponent, you win, or you're going to be tabled. So I'm not sure which way this is going to go, to be honest. But you have got the ethereal units. Their job really is to get into the units that don't have any magical attacks and just essentially stop them, just switch them off, allowing your dire wolves or maybe Graveguard to get in there and do some damage. or do some damage with your spells, and in, you know, worst case scenario, you've got a zombie dragon that can smash stuff up. So yeah, so I hope that's been useful. I hope you've enjoyed this vampire video where we've gone a bit more into how to do different vampire lists, theme them differently. And the main reason I wanted to do this video is because vampires are just so flexible in terms of what's in the book. Like, you can, you know, if you're doing a von Carstein, which is kind of like a combination of all of these, like you could do whatever you like. I mean, I'll just quickly do one. Like, you know, you could just, oh no, I meant Empire. What's game view? I've not seen that before. That's weird. Delete that. What's game view? This is an exciting new feature. What's game view look like? Oh wow! So they are going to put stats in and allow you to. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Right. Anyway, yeah, I won't actually do that now. But yeah, so there's so much flexibility and so much cool stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to rebasing all my skellies and getting Neff on the tabletop. I hope that's been useful. If you've got to this stage, maybe, hopefully, I've earned your subscription. And if you like the video, click on the thumbs up. And hopefully see you again in the next one. Toodaloo.